Well, yesterday, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office said that Tiger Woods' crash from February was due to excessive speeds. Tiger was driving between 84 and 87 miles per hour downhill in a 45-mile-per-hour zone, and his vehicle was going 75 when it hit a tree, according to Sheriff Alex Villanueva. So, Shannon, what do you make of this latest information here?
This is very, very concerning for me, Skip. First, he's lucky to be alive. Oh, let's start with that. And I'm glad, because someone was watching over you, Tiger Woods, and I don't think you realize just how fortunate you are.
Hit a tree at 75?
I don't even want to get into the look of this, because when I heard how fast he was going and those skid marks and the level he hit the tree, something popped into my head, but I won't even put that out there, Skip. I'm not going to even put that out there.
Okay.
I don't think the sheriff had any choice. FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. I think the people, they're going to hold his feet to the fire. He's going to have to release this information, because this would have been unprecedented. Because if you...
By the way, you were scathing in your criticism of him.
Yes.
When was it, a couple of weeks ago?
We're not going to release it. Because under that premise, Skip, no defendant will allow you to release information. If I had a DUI, I'm not going to tell you that something happened. No, I want you to release that information.
Yes.
You couldn't do that.
Because he said we needed him to sign off.
Right. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
And then another problem that I got, well, I just want to be clear that drugs or alcohol was not really... How do you know? Without the toxicology report, you cannot say definitively. Now, I'm not willing to say that they were, but given his history, you can exclude that.
Yep.
So for you to say that, Skip, there's a reason why you take that. There have been a lot of people that have died under that did what Tiger did and died. And we found out later they were under the influence. But because you took the toxicology, you take no toxicology. And then you turn around and say, well, we're not going to charge him, even though he was going 40+ miles an hour over the speed limit. Well, what you have to do in order to charge somebody for speeding, you have to have a superseding fact. You have to have an improper lane change. What? Skip, I've never heard that in my life. So in other words, if I get on the 405, if I just stay in the right lane and I just take off and go 120, you can't charge me with speeding because I didn't do anything improper to precede the speeding. That's absurd. Everybody knows, Skip, he's supposed to get something. He's supposed to get, reckless driving.
Yep.
Driving too fast for conditions. But come on. I'm glad Tiger's alive. I'm glad Tiger Woods alive. But
I'm glad nobody else lost their life. Yep.
But to go to travel at this rate of speed, at this time of the morning, in this manner, to say the least, is reckless. That's reckless driving.
Yeah.
They can charge you with that. You don't want to charge him with speeding, charge him with reckless driving. But to basically let him come off unscathed, but because, well, he did get hurt pretty bad, he chose to do that. That was not a malfunction of the vehicle. Tiger Woods chose to drive at a high rate of speed and put himself in harm's way. I knew this was going to come out sooner or later.
Yep.
There's no way you could hide up under the guise, well, we have to get his clearance to release this information. I knew that didn't pass the smell test. And I only had, senior law classes at Savannah State. So I knew this wasn't going to fly.
So when we last spoke about this, I said, gee, Tiger suffered enough. I'm not going to get all worked up about it. But I didn't know these facts that they were forced to release yesterday.
You hear what you said, forced.
They were forced. It's good to have friends in high places. This is favorable treatment at the highest level.
Yes.
And I just want to drive home the point. He was traveling 87 miles an hour in a 45 zone. It is downhill, but then according to the sheriff and the other sheriff in the jurisdiction closest to the accident, there's no evidence that he hit the brake at all.
Thank you.
He did not swerve, he did not brake. 87 miles an hour? You go over the median through two oncoming lanes of traffic. Thank God you missed those cars. And then you continue on, you slow down a little bit to 75, and you hit a tree pretty much head on, it looked like.
Right.
And you live to tell about it. Thank you, God, for that one. But now you're telling me that it's so to speak, pilot error, because they said they believed that he mistakenly, instead of hitting the brake, pressed back down on the gas. Well, I just, who does that?
No.
Who does that under duress? Do you panic and just push harder down on the accelerator? Arguably the greatest golfer ever, who has supreme hand-eye coordination. I just find that preposterous.
I do.
Right?
So do I.
So, no toxicology report, yet they continue to insist that because the official said Woods told deputies that he had not ingested medication or alcohol before the crash.
What the hell?
Okay.
What the hell is he supposed to say?
Okay, well, they did think he was in his right mind, but there's no toxicology. There's no blood test.
But remember, there was someone on the scene said Tiger Woods was unconscious when he got there. And he said he has no memory of what happened.
Look, obviously, he had just had back surgery, so it was possible that he was still on some medication, some pain-killing medication for the recent back surgery. And we know of 2 incidents before, especially the one where he was found sort of asleep behind the wheel, and then there was a blood test taken, and he had all kinds of sleeping aids and pain medication in his system, and he just fell asleep behind the wheel of a running car, just sitting out in the middle of traffic.
And the incident that really led to everything going downhill that night.
That was the second one, or that was the first one, before this one.
So we can't rule that out. History plays a role in everything. His history says that he's gotten behind the wheel with things in his system that he shouldn't have, or he shouldn't be operating a vehicle. But for you to continue, who are you trying to convince that Tiger was not under the influence? Oh, he told us. Man, you ask somebody, go, hey, what am I supposed to tell you? Man, I had like 17. You see a bit when I used to watch cops, they pull somebody over. Well, I had 1 beer. Well, actually, you had a case. You got a case of empty cans in the car right now. And you talking about you had 1 beer. So what's he supposed to tell you? Man, I had been drinking since midnight. Well, it's 7 a.m. Of course, he gonna tell you I didn't have anything. Why didn't you take the toxicology report, the test? Because you subpoenaed for the black box. That's what I don't get, Skip. That's when it started. Hold on. So why if you said, hey, nothing happened, he wasn't an influence, why did you need the black box? Because you knew it didn't pass the smell test. And then other people were telling me, well, Shannon, you know, he can't release it because of what transpired with Kobe. That's a totally different issue. Vanessa wasn't suing because the National Transportation Board deemed it was pilot error. She's suing because someone that didn't have anything to do with the case took pictures. And showed them to other people that had nothing to do with the case. That's what she's suing about. Not because that was above their grade. They couldn't tell you what happened to the helicopter. It was after fact, the aftermath.
These were policemen on the scene taking pictures of the carnage.
And then displaying them to show the people that has nothing to do with the crime scene or to determining what happened with the not crime scene, accident scene, or determining what happened to the crash. That's what she's suing about. This was a totally separate issue. But for you to keep saying there was no alcohol, there was no impairment, for you to keep saying that you don't know. Skip, there's a lot of actors that have died mysteriously. We would have never known had there not been a toxicology report. We've seen a lot of people get in accidents, high-profile play. As a matter of fact, Rasul Butler played in the NBA, Skip. They told you how fast he was going and what he had in his system.
Okay.
Tiger Woods going between 84 and 87. Strikes a tree head on at 75 miles an hour. There's no skid marks. Like I said, I mean, I have my own theories, but hey.
Well, in the end, we're just thankful nobody got killed, including this man.
Yes. He might be a cat. Because he done used about 3 of his lies, Skip.
You're right.
Well, and, you know, the only person that really ultimately knows what happens is Tiger Woods. And right now he's recovering. And we'll wait and see if he decides to speak more about what happened to him. And that's all we have right now. I'm going to shift back to the Cowboys because that's always fun around here. Could another up-and-coming QB be entering the NFC East to challenge Dak and the Cowboys? Let me explain next.